To all the people who have waited patiently for my Thor review, thank you. Came out in America today, so here we are. That being said, here we go. Thor. I had to say it like that. Alright, so Thor is a Marvel comic about the Nordic god of thunder, which makes him probably the most difficult of Avengers to do. That being said, did they pull it off? Yeah. So Thor was living the good life. He was in Asgard, he was a rock star. He all comes back from war like, yes, how we do it, Asgard! America! I mean, Asgard. He was like if Kratos from God of War had a kid with Johnny Cage. Needless to say, I like the character Thor. Now, the trailer made it look like he got cast out of Asgard because of something he did, but I thought that it was one of those things where he did what was right, and Anthony Hopkins didn't understand that because he was like, you know, an old man and a fool, as Thor calls him. But as it stands, Thor was pretty arrogant and stupid. Actions lead to consequences, and his arrogance got him kicked out. Kicked out of his home, down to Earth. So then he's down here with no powers. He needs to get his powers back because his brother Loki is taking over, and we all know how mischievous Loki can be. I don't know. I cannot hear Loki and not think of The Mask. Forever. Now, Kenneth Branagh, the director, was asked, how did you do this? I mean, usually you're like all Shakespearean. Now you're taking on a comic book movie. His response was that it's all the same stuff, you know, like family and rivalry and exile, brothers, betrayal, and blood feuds. And he's really right. It is all of that stuff, which makes it really interesting. These gods are really relatable to us people, which is really hard to do. In the trailer, Thor says to Natalie Portman, like, he comes from a world where magic and science are all the same thing. And they did a really good job showing that. As the old saying goes, magic and science are indistinguishable to a primitive culture. And in Thor's world, Asgard, they're pretty indistinguishable. You see stuff and you're like, is that science or magic? Ah, they're both. Because we're primitive people. So I thought that was really cool. And I will say this, when Thor is at his lowest low, you really actually feel for the guy. I felt bad for him. I was like, dude, shit, that sucks. I empathized and felt bad for the God of Thunder. God of Thunder, who's also a badass warrior, which shows in the action scenes. When Thor is throwing down, dude, it is badass. That dude is hardcore. Apparently the God of Thunder is the God of War. When all these action scenes are going down, you're like, it's just so big. This movie kicks off the summer season in a really big way. You're just like, that looks expensive. Yet the movie has heart. Which again, usually doesn't happen. It's really hard to do. And how's the chemistry between the God of Thunder and a human chick? It was great. I thought they had really good chemistry. Natalie Portman's character was actually a really cool chick. I'm not just saying that because, you know, I'm halfway in love with her and all that. She was actually a really good character. And likable and fun and hot. So good chemistry between the main characters, a really devious villain, who you kind of see, even though he's a villain, you know, it's Thor's brother, so Thor doesn't hate him, you just gotta stop him. Which makes that all the more tragic. Good shit. Great action sequences, and the summer movie season kicks off with a huge bang. I will say the summer movie season hasn't been kicked off this well since Iron Man 1. So apparently the toughest part of the Avengers lore is done, and it's done well. My only real issue with the movie is that I wanted to see more Thor stuff. I wanted to see him be a badass more. A lot of the time he's like a human being, although you do get the moments of him throwing down all badass. But I understand why they didn't do it, because you don't want to deplete the currency. If you see it too much, then you're not going to appreciate it when you do see it. Screw it. I'm going to go ahead and say Thor is Awesometacular. I didn't think I was going to relate to these characters. They're so beyond me. Kind of, but not really. They are. And yeah, there is something at the end credits. All these Avengers type movies have something after the credits. So stay till after the credits. You have to. Thor seems to be a really important part of the whole Avengers setup thing, but it also stands strong as a standalone movie. It has elements of Avengers stuff in it, but it doesn't feel like an Avengers prequel. That's really important, and that was awesome. So have you seen Thor yet? What did you think of it? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Comment below. Let me know. And as always, if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click right here to see more.